Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. If you're new around here, my name is Aiden, and as you can see from the title, it is that time of the month again. So in today's video, we will be breaking down my top 10 best upcoming sneakers for the month of February. Now I know we're about a week late for this one, but honestly, there hasn't really been that many releases at the start of February anyway, so we really haven't missed very much. But what I can say is that February is shaping up to be a pretty exciting month when it does come to sneaker releases. Now I don't want to hold you guys in suspense with the intro, so sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So no mucking about, just getting straight into our list with our very first release. First up we have the Tom Sachs Nightcraft General Purpose Shoe in this all brown colourway. Scheduled to be releasing on the 7th of February for a retail price of £100. A very affordable price point, especially when you compare it to a lot of other Nike silhouettes, which again have recently had a pretty significant price hike. Now this isn't a stab at Nike, it's a lot of other brands, every major brand that has had to raise the prices due to inflation. I'm not going to get into it, but it is unfortunate that it is becoming very unaffordable to actually collect sneakers and have this as a hobby. So to see certain releases coming in at an affordable price point like this, you can definitely say that I'm going to be all for it. Now I've had a lot to say about the whole general purpose shoe in the past, never really been a big fan of the previous colourways, but what I will say is that this all brown colourway is to me probably the best one I've actually seen to date. A very nice, clean, wearable option. You can wear it with whatever, whenever, and the whole purpose behind this general purpose shoe is to wear it all the time and not really have it on the mantelpiece or in a display like you can see behind me with a lot of my shoes. So if this is a colourway that speaks to you and it is something you want to add to your own personal collection, it is already available for Raffles and it is already on the Sneakers app as well. Now by the time you're seeing this video, you may even be seeing this video after the release itself. It is definitely one of those ones I would highly recommend you to put all your footwork in for. I fully expect that this shoe is going to sell out. So just moving on swiftly to our very next release, which also happens to be releasing on the 7th of February. Next up we have the Nike Dunk Low in the industrial blue colourway, scheduled to be releasing for a retail price of £110. Again, another very affordable price point. Now this one almost didn't make the list, it's only recently surfaced up on a few different platforms for Raffles. I initially saw it on SNS, I've then seen it on Size and a few other retailers as well. So it definitely seems like they are getting rolled out slowly to each individual retailer. At first, I kind of just figured it was just like any other ordinary Dunk Low that we've been seeing recently. But when I actually took a closer look at them and I actually saw the materials, and then I saw that they changed the perforations on the toe box, and just a few of the details on the shoe definitely caught my attention, and this is definitely one I would highly recommend that you keep an eye out for. There is also another colourway that's releasing, which be honest, I'm not a massive fan of it. I do think that this industrial blue is the better of the two. I'm not sure if there are going to be any other additional colourways coming out, but for me, just in my personal opinion, this is definitely the one that I will be focusing on. Like I said with the general purpose shoe, by the time you see in this video, which I believe will be the 6th of February by the time I get this uploaded, it is going to be a case that you won't have that much time. So I will make sure to leave a link in my description box down below to the Source Suppliers raffle guide. That'll have a comprehensive list of every single retailer that will be raffling these off. So if you want to get your hands on them, make sure to enter every single raffle possible, because I do believe that this shoe is definitely going to sell out. So just moving on swiftly to the next one up on our list. Next up we actually have one dedicated to the ladies. So next up we have the Air Jordan 4 Seafoam, scheduled to be releasing on the 9th of February for a retail price of £190. That's right, your ears didn't mistake you, £190 is the retail price for these. Very, very expensive, a huge contrast to the first two releases we saw on the list, but I would definitely argue of the three we've seen so far, this is probably the overall the best shoe of the three, but that's just my opinion. Now when it does come to this particular shoe, unfortunately, being that it is a women's exclusive, some of you fellas out there with bigger feet, you might actually have to take an L on this one, but do bear with me, we do actually have some more Jordan 4s later on in the video, so do make sure to stay tuned for those. But when it comes to this one in particular, we did recently see it up on the Sneakers app. It's already on there already. I think it may have also been covered in the Sneakers Live that they did recently. It's a very, very clean colourway. You definitely can't go wrong when it does come to the Jordan 4. But because of that retail price point of $190, I will be honest, it's a huge put off for me personally. So again, I don't feel like this is one that I'm going to need to go for the personal collection. If you want to get your hands on these, do make sure to check out the Raffles guide once again. As I've said, they're already up on the Sneakers app. The Raffles have recently started to go live as well. Again, this is definitely a shoe that I can definitely see selling out. So just moving on swiftly to the next one up on our list, and actually moving away from Nike and Jordan brand for just a second. Next up we have the collaboration between JJJJound and New Balance for the 991 in the grey and brown colourway. Scheduled to be releasing on the 10th of February for a retail price of £220. And as we move throughout this list, it definitely seems like we're getting more and more expensive with every single shoe. I just want to assure you we definitely have a lot more affordable options throughout the rest of the list, so do make sure to stay tuned for those. Now, even though this is coming in at the highest price point on the list so far, and is probably the highest price point on this entire list, you are definitely going to be getting good value for your money. When it comes to New Balance, they always put a lot of good materials on shoes. The comfort's always there as well, and you definitely can't argue with that side of things. When it comes to New Balance sneakers, you pretty much know what you're in for. It's a shoe you can have for many, many years. It's going to hold up with general wear and tear very well, and it's just one of those things that, you know, you're paying good money and you get good value for it.
You're goddamn right.
Now, I will be completely honest, I haven't actually seen any raffles go live for these just yet, but do make sure to keep an eye out for it. I do fully expect that it will be releasing at every single major retailer via raffle, and I do also believe that they will be releasing on the New Balance website as well. Unfortunately, New Balance just isn't the best website to use when it does come to copying kicks. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of hassle, and in most cases just to take an L. But I would definitely recommend to at least try your best, because you never know, you might get through and you might be able to cop these for retail. Now, I am fully expecting that this shoe is going to sell out. I'm not going to touch on the whole resale side of things because, to be honest, I'm probably not the best person to ask on this one, but I do fully expect that the shoe will be selling out. So if you want to get them for your own personal collection and to every single raffle possible, this one could be a pretty difficult one to get your hands on. So just moving on swiftly to the next one up on our list, and actually moving back to Jordan brand. Next up we have the Air Jordan 4 Craft, scheduled to be releasing on the 11th of February for a retail price of £200. Even more expensive than what we saw with the Seafoams. I believe that's down to the premium materials that they're using, but that's just what they're saying. I'm gonna say you're gonna have to really see for yourself whether that's actually the case. A £10 disparity from the women's pair to the men's pair. Is it really worth the difference? Will we have that much better materials? I guess only really time will tell on that one. Now, this one has definitely been a shoe that's been talked about by a bunch of different people. I've seen early reviews already. Shout out to Life Broski. He did a brilliant early review for these. Definitely got me hyped for him. And then I saw the retail price point, and again, very much a major put off for me personally.
Computer says no.
Outside of that, it's an absolutely beautiful shoe. I think they've executed it beautifully. It's a mixture of different materials. The upper is very eye-catching. It's not something we tend to see with a lot of Jordan models. You know, they are starting to roll out that whole craft vibe with a few different silhouettes. But I would definitely say that what we're seeing with the 4 is probably my personal favourite up to date. It isn't something that I'm going to be going for personally. Again, I'm taking a stand. This is where I draw the line. I'm not paying £200 at retail for anything that I don't have to have. And this isn't one that I have to have, unfortunately. So it is a very easy pass, even though I would very much like to have them, but it just kind of is one of those things. If you want to get them for your own collection, raffles have already started to go live. As is to be expected, they are also available on the Sneakers website as well. So do make sure to get all your raffle entries in. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but when it comes to these releases, you definitely need to be putting your footwork in, because again, this shoe is definitely gonna sell out. So just moving on swiftly to the next one up on our list, and being that February is the month of love, we have our very first Valentine's inspired release. So next up we have the Nike Dunk Low Valentine's Day, scheduled to be releasing on the 14th of February for a retail price of £110. And for any of you lovebirds out there that don't know, Valentine's Day is the 14th of February, so do make sure to mark those calendars. Now, in addition to the Nike Dunk Lows, we are also going to be seeing the Nike Air More Up Tempo along with the Air Trainer 1s, both getting this exact same colourway treatment on those individual models. I will be honest, I would say the Nike Dunk Lows has been executed the best of the 3, but I'll leave it up to you to decide which one you prefer. Now, I do actually think that this is probably one of the nicest dunk lows I've actually seen in the longest time. I've seen early reviews on these already because it looks like there was actually a pretty significant shock drop over in the States, and a bunch of people got these early. So shout out to every one of you guys that I'm subscribed to that did a review on them, because there was a bunch of them that I managed to catch last week. I think overall it's a very clean colorway. It looks like pretty decent materials overall. I think the color blocking has been executed beautifully as well. I think overall, if you are looking to pick up a pair of trainers this month and you are wanting to maybe give something to a significant other that's also a sneakerhead like we are, this is definitely one I would say you should highly consider picking up. Now, I will be completely honest, I haven't seen any raffles go live for this one just yet, and I'm not entirely sure whether it will be releasing on the Sneakers app or on the Nike app, so do make sure to check out all the regular places for the raffles, and also make sure to keep an eye on both the Nike app and Sneakers, just in case it's going to be on one or the other. Some tend to go on Sneakers, some don't. I think being that it's a Valentine's Day one, I'm kind of leaning more towards Sneakers. Don't quote me on it, I could be wrong on that. But either which way, no matter where it's releasing, I fully expect that this shoe is definitely going to sell out. So just moving on swiftly to the next one up on our list. Next up, we actually have a pair that we also covered in last month's video as well. So next up, we have the collaboration between Stone Island and New Balance for the 574 in the olive green colourway. Finally scheduled to be releasing on the 14th of February for a retail price of £135. And being that it's already been pushed back once, it could be pushed back again. So definitely do take that date with a pinch of salt. Now, for anyone who saw last month's video, I really feel like I had said everything I really wanted to say about that one. But for anyone that didn't see it, if you want to see it, feel free to go back and check it out. But I will just quickly rehash what I was saying back then, just to kind of give you my overall opinion on it. When it comes to the shoe, very wearable, very clean, can wear it with whatever, whenever, and it's probably going to be a very nice option for both spring and summer. In my personal opinion, it is definitely the best Stone Island collaboration with New Balance, the best one we've seen to date, to be honest. I think some of the previous ones were initially pretty interesting looking, but the more I looked at them, the more I just really didn't fancy them. This one, however, the more I see it, the more I like it, so this is definitely one you should be keeping a close eye out for. Now, being that it is Stone Island, I'm fully expecting that it is going to sell out, and it's probably going to resell for quite a bit of money as well. So again, like we said for every other release, make sure to be getting your raffle entries in when those raffles do eventually start to go live. Again, you're going to have to try your luck on the New Balance website. It's not the best, it's not the easiest, but you've at least got to try, because again, this shoe is definitely going to sell out. So just moving on swiftly to the next one upon our list. Next up, we have the Air Jordan 1 High 85 in the black and white colourway, scheduled to be releasing on the 15th of February for a retail price of £180. Now, we did recently see a small shock drop on the Sneakers Live for these, and a few people was able to actually make it through and actually get their pairs. A bunch of other people like myself wasn't even able to enter. They didn't come up on the screen, which was very, very frustrating. I saw a few people making videos about it. I considered it, but I thought in the end, it's Sneakers. It's just to be expected. There's always issues with every single shock drop or live. There's always going to be a little bit of an issue with it, so I'm not even going to bother with it, to be honest. Now, I do know someone personally who was actually able to get them early, so Sneaker Jossie, shout out to you. He actually sent me over a picture of them, and I will be honest, they look absolutely incredible. Being that it's of that 85 cut, it's going to be very hard to get. Some Jordan 1s sell out, some don't, but ones like this always will sell out and will always go for a lot of money. I'm expecting that this could be probably one of the more highly anticipated releases throughout this entire month. Of everything we've seen in the list so far, I'd probably say these, and maybe even the crafts, are probably going to be the ones that people are going to be earmarking. I personally am even going to be going for these myself. I'm not a huge Jordan 1 lover, but I've never owned any of the 85 cuts, so I would definitely love to at least see it in hand, maybe do a review on it for the channel to give you guys that look as well. So definitely one I am keeping a very close eye out for. I believe that it's been confirmed on the Sneakers app, although it's not on the Sneakers app just yet. Probably will come up towards the end of next week, so do keep an eye out for that. And also do make sure you're entering every single raffle possible. Again, of everything on this list, this one is absolutely gonna sell out.
Shut up and take my money!
So as we look to close out this list, we do only actually have another couple of pairs to take a look at. Next up, we have the Nike Dunk Low in the Sail Team Red colourway, scheduled to be releasing on the 23rd of February for a retail price of £110. And like a few of the other dunks we've already touched on earlier on in this list, they will be releasing with a couple different colourways as well. But this is the one that I like the most, so this is the one that I'm going to focus on. But just bear in mind there are some other colourways as well, if you aren't maybe feeling this one as much as I am. Now, they are saying that this is the Sail Team Red colourway, but when I looked at it just based on those pre-release images, it's giving me a slightly more burgundy vibe, maybe even more of a maroon type of feel to it. So I definitely felt like the overall colourway was executed absolutely beautifully. It's a slightly different vibe to your regular Dunk Low as well, being that we have a little bit of interesting makeup. So we have something different on the lace debris, we then have some text on the foxing, and overall it just has a slightly more premium feel to your regular Dunk Low, almost kind of like what you might see with like a special release or even a collaboration. And when it comes to the release, I do kind of think it might sit, but I also have that feeling that it could sell out, so we're gonna have to watch this space. But overall, a very clean colorway, something you should definitely consider picking up if you are looking for a brand new pair of Dunk Lows. And last but by no means least, we have reached our very final one for today's list. So last up, we have the Air Jordan 1 in the reversed Laney colourway, scheduled to be releasing on the 24th of February for a retail price of £170. And even though people are referring to this as the reversed Laneys, the first thing I thought when I saw this colourway is that this is the Air Jordan 1 Littles. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to hear any different. This will always be known as the Air Jordan 1 Littles to me.
You serious?
Now, as far as the colourway is concerned, I will be honest, yellow and blue aren't necessarily colours that I would associate working together too well. I do think it's been executed fine. It's just not really pulling down any trees for me. It's not a colourway that I personally would rock in my personal rotation. If you like the colourway, this isn't me saying that you shouldn't get it or it's a bad shoe or anything like that. I just don't necessarily feel like it's that easy to wear with a lot of different outfits. There have been very similar Jordan 1s that have come out in the past where they've had quite out there colourways. We had like the McDonald's ones, whatever they were called. We also had the Brotherhoods and a couple different ones as well that had a pretty out there colourway that just ended up flopping pretty hard. And I feel like this one could potentially do the same. Now, whenever they associate the Laney name with a release, they do tend to do okay, so that might actually mean that this shoe is actually going to sell out. Don't hold me to it. I don't know the whole backstory. If this one's called the Reverse Laneys, I would assume there is a Laney colorway as well, which if you have that one, you might want this one. So really only time will tell, and maybe more informative people will know about it. But for me personally, just tackling it from an aesthetics point of view, this isn't something I need, and it's not something I'm going for a review either. If you like them, again, I do believe that they will be releasing via Raffle, and it should be releasing on the Sneakers app as well. As I've already said, there have been a bunch of very similar colorways in the past which haven't done so well. So I'm just going to sit firmly on the fence and say, I'm not sure if it's going to sell out. I'm not sure if it's going to be difficult to get, although I doubt it. So if you want to get your hands on them, if you put your footwork in, I do fully expect you will definitely be able to get these, and it could potentially be one of the easier ones to get throughout this list. And just like that, we have wrapped up my top 10 best upcoming sneakers for the month of February. Now, I do like to point out at this stage in every one of my videos, for everyone who stuck around to the end, if there are any releases in this list that you don't feel like should have made the list and other releases should have, just bear in mind that a lot of the releases that come out throughout the month can sometimes only be announced later on within the month, and this is just the best of what's already being announced. If there are any releases that you know are upcoming that didn't make this list, do make sure to let us know in the comment section down below. And on that same vein, if there are any releases in this list that you are looking to add to your collection, do make sure to let us know in the comment section down below. Now, if you have stuck around to this point in the video, I just want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video. And I hope to see you all again in the next one. Peace.